Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook, Super God Accelerator. Chapter 21. If the power of Own can be exerted to a stronger level, then Chin Mu's strength will be increased several times. With the right direction forward, Chin Mu practiced even harder. Even though the energy and blood from swallowing the whole bowl had been exhausted, he didn't stop. Cells have no consciousness, and they can only passively absorb energy to strengthen themselves. For a cell to be active, it needs to be stimulated. How to stimulate it? That is to squeeze it crazily, squeeze out every ounce of energy from it, starve it crazy first, then it will crazily devour energy and strengthen itself. To put it bluntly, cultivation is such a thing, the process of constantly tapping one's own potential and making oneself stronger. The goal is to become stronger, but on the road to becoming stronger, each has its own way. In ancient times, there were various schools of cultivation. Even if martial Tao is the only one now, there are different cultivation techniques among martial Tao. Even if it is the same cultivation technique, different people practice different methods. Martial Tao is to find the way to practice martial arts yourself. Other people's martial Tao can't help you, you can only find your own martial Tao by yourself. Obviously, Chin Mu has gradually found a martial Tao that is suitable for his own, and it is also a martial Tao that belongs to him alone, and no one can copy it. With own martial Tao, the speed of becoming stronger will be accelerated again. Chin Mu's cultivation method is very simple. First, he desperately squeezes every ounce of energy in the cells of his body to the limit that he can bear, and starves all the cells in his body crazy. Then he ruthlessly ate a whole cow, turned on the accelerator, accelerated his cultivation by 10 times, and ran that strong bull demon art over and over again, so that the hungry and crazy cells frantically devoured the chi and blood obtained from the bull. Strengthen body cells. 3 meals a day, 1 cow per meal. This kind of cultivation process, Chin Mu came 3 times a day. From the rising of the sun to the dusk, the whole day was spent like this, interspersed with medicinal baths, without wasting any medicinal power, and became stronger at the fastest speed. And when night fell, he entered the study, in the small, sutra pavilion, turned on the accelerator to practice martial skill. With the help of the accelerator, he practiced martial skill at an extremely fast speed. All kinds of boxing skills, the use of 18 kinds of weapons, mastery at the fastest speed. Practicing martial skill is also a way for him to control his own strength. As he becomes more and more proficient in practicing martial skill, he gradually begins to master the 18 martial arts. His control of his own strength has reached a bottleneck. Once he crosses this bottleneck, his control will reach another level, which is a brand new world. Although he wanted to see the scenery of another world, Chin Mu was not in a hurry. He believes that when the cells in his whole body are strong to a certain level, especially the cells in the brain, then he will naturally cross that threshold. He was in no rush, not at all. He is very satisfied with his current life. There are countless cultivation resources at his disposal. He can get whatever he wants, and he doesn't need to do anything. The only thing he has to do is to cultivate and become stronger. He didn't dare to say anything about other things, but he was very confident about things like training to become stronger. Because he is getting stronger every moment, and he is getting stronger from the inside out. Martial Tao cultivation base, physical fitness, martial skill mastery, strength mastery, and insight. Become stronger in all directions. Every day that passes, he looks different. Although his cultivation base doesn't seem to have changed, it's still the 7th stage of body forging. But that's because he has forged his body down to the level of cells. The current him, on the surface, seems to be a forged 7th stage. But in fact, the strength contained in his body is tens to hundreds of times that of those who forged the 7th stage in the top 6 outer sect back then. The overall strengthening of the cells brought him unimaginable strength. If strength is counted, then the current Chin Mu can beat 10 or even dozens of himself before. If it is the same rank of the forging 7th stage, then even if there are hundreds or thousands, he will not be afraid. Now he is so strong. And all of this, only half a month has passed since he came to the Bull Demon Palace. In the past half month, his strength has been enhanced too much, and he has truly been reborn. This is the real power of strong Bull Demon art. Every cell awakened in the body can be called a Bull Demon cell, bringing incomparably powerful power. But Qin Mu is very clear that he has not even entered into the initiation of cell cultivation. The more he understands strong Niu Mogong, the more curious Qin Mu is about this cultivation technique. This cultivation technique has just shown its power, and it has already surpassed the world's top forging cultivation technique. You know, it's not just a body forging cultivation technique, it even comes with various secret methods. For the person who has practiced strong Niu Mogong, all channels are connected, and the legendary with 360 orifices all over the body, the current Qin Mu firmly believes in it. On this day, in the martial arts field of the Bull Demon Palace, Qin Mu is practicing boxing, not strong Bull Demon Palace but a martial skill he learned in his study, which is a fist technique. I don't know why, although with the help of the Accelerator, he can use mastery with 18 kinds of weapons in a short period of time, but he doesn't seem to have the slightest feeling for these weapons, only fist technique, which makes him the most powerful. Feel. He likes the thrill of smashing down with one punch and causing landslides. He firmly believes that one day his punch will explode the earth and shatter star. There is no enemy that he can't deal with one punch, if there is, then 2 punches. It is precisely because he is immersed in this invincible self-confidence that his comprehension speed for fist technique can be called abnormal. Although there is a reason for the help of the Accelerator, in a short period of time, his fist technique already has a touch of the demeanor of a fist technique master. It seems that at a certain moment, Qin Mu, who was immersed in the fist, suddenly seemed to break some kind of bottleneck. The next moment, he only felt that he could clearly feel the strength of every muscle and every bone in his body, all take control. At this moment, the pores of his whole body were all closed, and the qi and blood of his whole body were dormant. Standing on the martial arts arena, he didn't show any breath, and he looked like a common man who had not practiced martial arts. A look of surprise flashed in Qin Mu's eyes. He knew that his control of his own power had truly stepped into another realm, which was a brand new world. This realm is just nuanced. Take control. Every bit of his power is under his control. If it is against the enemy, there will be no power wasted. This not only multiplies the time he can fight for a long time, but what is even more frightening is the accuracy. Some people are very powerful, but they just can't hit the enemy, and there is no precision at all. This is the lack of control over power, having power in one body, but not knowing how to use it. In the same way, if you squeeze a fly to death, some people can't kill it even after exhausting their whole body strength, while some people can easily crush the fly to death without any effort. How big is the difference? Now, Qin Mu can confidently say that he only needs to pinch a fly to kill it. Because he controlled it to the smallest detail, without revealing the slightest bit of power or murderous intent, even with the vigilance of a fly, he would not be able to detect it. That's the power of being in control. The combat power brought is several times or even 10 times higher. On this day, after Qin Mu practiced boxing, he just walked out of the martial arts arena when Steward Niu ran up to report to him. Young sect leader, true disciple Lin Yan and inner disciple Wen Bian are here to see you. Speaking of this, Steward Niu's eyes flashed with hesitation, and he reminded, they have been waiting for a while, and they have been reluctant to leave. They said they must see you, sect leader. True disciple Lin Yan, inner disciple Wen Bian. Qin Mu thought for a while, but he didn't have any impression of these two people at all in his mind, and he didn't know any inner disciples or true disciples. When he was in the outer sect, he devoted himself to practicing martial arts and became a core disciple. He still focused on practicing martial arts, and he had no friends at all in the sect. However, it doesn't matter if you don't have an impression, for this day, when he became a core disciple, he had already realized it. Since he is the only core disciple, the young sect leader of the Blazing Sun sect, it is essential to deal with the elder disciples in the sect. Immediately nodded and ordered, take me there. Young sect leader, come with me. Steward Niu nodded and bowed, bending over and not daring to stand upright, leading the way. All the way to the banquet hall in the Bull Demon Palace, there are 2 young people sitting in the hall, a man and a woman. Seeing these 2 people, Qin Mu paused slightly, only to feel that they looked familiar. After thinking for a while, he remembered that these 2 people were the ones who were shadowed by several Taoists when he punched the tiger demon to death in the back mountain that day. Saw 2 of them. At that time, He was very fortunate that those Taoists were very knowledgeable, and he didn't come forward to get acquainted rashly, exposing his strength. However, the friendship between them is nothing more than that. There was only one side, not even half a word. I don't know, what is the purpose of these two people's visits? Qin Mu secretly thought. Last sect leader. As soon as he entered the banquet hall, Steward Niu yelled loudly, waking up the two who were sitting and drinking tea, and got up quickly, looking for fame. When they saw Qin Mu behind Steward Niu, their eyes lit up, and they hurried forward to salute Qin Mu. True disciple Lin Yan has met the elder brother. Inner disciple Wen Bian has met the elder brother. The two called themselves a big brother, and Qin Mu accepted it calmly. As the only core disciple of the Liang sect, he should be the big brother of all the disciples. Regardless of outer sect, inner sect, or true inheritance. Junior brother Lin, junior sister Wen, I have some impressions of you too. I was in the back mountain that day. Thank you for not exposing my strength. Qin Mu smiled at the two of them. Hearing that Qin Mu said that he had an impression of him and thanked him, the two of them immediately felt flattered. The status and status are different. No one dares to take Qin Mu's words seriously. His small kindness can make people flattered. Brother can remember us, we are really flattered. Lin Yan and Lin Yan hurriedly said modestly. Qin Mu was noncommittal. After the greeting, he got straight to the point and asked the purpose of the two people. I don't know why you two came to see me. I'm the only one who came to look for senior brother. Junior sister Wen is just curious about senior brother and wants to meet him. Lin Yan blushed slightly, and then said seriously, to tell you the truth, Lin came to see senior brother to thank you big brother. Thank you. Qin Mu was a little dazed, and said with a smile, to tell you the truth, I only met the two of you once, and I didn't even talk to each other. So where does this thank you come from? It's like this. Lin Yan explained to Qin Mu the bet he made with other inner disciples. On that day, Qin Mu suddenly became the only core disciple of the Liang sect, causing a sensation in the entire sect. The huge bet between Lin Yan and other inner disciples naturally ended with him winning. Qin Mu has become a core disciple, so naturally he is number one in the outer sect, and the person who bet with him would not dare to renege on his debt. Because, once he reneges on his debts, it is equivalent to offending Qin Mu, the only core disciple. Maybe Qin Mu himself didn't know this happened, but those who wanted to get involved with Qin Mu and please him would not let it go. So Lin Yan successfully got the bet of 10 blood pills, plus the 10 blood pills he prepared for his breakthrough to the blood chi realm. He already has a huge sum of 20 blood pills. 20 chi and blood pills allowed him to break through from the body forging realm to the blood chi realm extremely smoothly, becoming a member of the true disciples of the Liang sect. No, as soon as he became a true disciple, he and Wen Bian hurried to Niu Mofeng to thank Qin Mu. He knew very well that without Qin Mu, he would not have broken through to the blood chi realm so smoothly. So that's what happened. After Qin Mu heard this, he looked stunned, and then shook his hand indifferently. If he had heard the bet with 10 chi and blood pills as a bet when he was a disciple of outer sect before, it would be very moving, because at that time, the chi and blood pill was an unimaginable magic pill for him. But now, he still has 999 plus chi and blood pills stored in his warehouse, so why would he care? He didn't care about the game of gambling, but he was very interested in Lin Yan. Staring at Lin Yan, his eyes suddenly lit up, and suggested, Junior brother Lin, you just broke through the blood chi realm, and you need to find an opponent to stabilize the realm. I am familiar with the blood chi environment, and it is difficult for me to find an opponent on this bull demon peak. Why don't you and I learn from each other? Qin Mu's proposal just appealed to Lin Yan's appetite. If a man wants to establish a good relationship with a man, then fighting is always the best way to promote it. In addition, what Qin Mu said is also very correct, which made him quite moved, and he didn't even think about it. Thinking about it, he nodded immediately, with a confident expression on his face. Okay, very good, I'm going to offend the senior brother. Go to the martial arts field. Qin Mu waved his hand indifferently. Body forging realm strengthens body and blood. Blood chi realm opens pulse chi refining blood. When it comes to the blood chi environment, chi and blood are released, as tough as iron, as sharp as a knife, unpredictable and infinitely powerful. There are 20 main veins in a human body, 8 extraordinary meridians, and the 12 cannons. Senior brother, Lin is ashamed. He just stepped into the blood-chi realm and only opened one vein. You have to be careful. In the martial arts arena, Lin Yan was afraid that Qin Mu would not be familiar with the realm of blood-chi, so he explained it to Qin Mu in detail. It's a discussion, but Lin Yan doesn't think it's a discussion, and it's not an exaggeration to say it's a point. Although Qin Mu is the only core disciple, the cultivation base is only in the body forging realm after all, and it is also the 7th stage of body forging. And he, Lin Yan, is a master of the blood atmosphere. Although he has just stepped into the blood-chi realm, the cultivation base is much higher than Qin Mu after all. He doesn't think that Qin Mu will be his opponent. He, Lin Yan, is purely here to be Qin Mu's sparring partner. After all, blood-chi has the pride of a blood-chi master, especially someone like Lin Yan who has just stepped into the blood-chi. Qin Mu didn't care either. There were so many books in the study, and he didn't read them for nothing. He was very clear about the gap between the blood-chi realm and the body-forging realm. The chi and blood in the blood-chi environment can already be released. Chi and blood are not blood, or the gaseous state of blood. It is energy, the energy in the practitioner's body. In Qin Mu's view, chi and blood are true chi. Blood-chi environment is a master who can release true chi outside. And how much combat power will the true chi that can be released outside increase? Difficult to estimate. This is also the reason why the blood-chi realm master can crush the body-forging realm in strength. With the blessing of chi and blood, the fist can become a hammer, indestructible. It can also become a sword, extremely sharp. With a weapon in hand, with the blessing of chi and blood, the weapon will become a magic sword and sword, cutting everything. Even if you don't have a weapon in your hand, you can be indestructible with just your fists. This is the strength of the blood-chi environment master. Everyone's chi and blood are different. Due to the different secret methods of cultivation, some people's chi and blood are more aggressive, while others are more restorative. But Lin Yan's chi and blood tended to be aggressive, and his whole body chi and blood were like sword chi, extremely sharp. Seeing Qin Mu nodding slightly, unmoved by his words, Lin Yan didn't say anything, and raised his sword with both hands. Brother, I've offended you. Raising the sword, he stabbed at such a fast speed that the figure was almost invisible, only a ghastly pale sword chi was stabbing at high speed. Well done. Qin Mu's hair stood on end all over his body, his scalp was numb, but instead of being surprised, he laughed out loud and punched hard. He is made of flesh and blood, although his skin is as tough as cowhide, but he will not collide with the sharp point of the sword with his own fist, not to mention, the sword is still rushing with sharp blood. If it was a life and death battle, Qin Mu might be willing to injure his own fists, but also crush the enemy to death with one punch. But this is a competition, and it is impossible to be desperate just to win. At this time, it showed Qin Mu's strong micro-level control. This punch hit the back of the sword impartially, and ruthlessly deflected Lin Yan's sword. Lin Yan is also extraordinary. His reaction is extremely fast, the whole body's blood circulates, and the blood surrounding the sword turns into small sword chi, which is as small as a needle and extremely sharp, just like a hedgehog. Blood was dripping from Qin Mu's fist, and the back of his hand was covered with blood holes the size of needles, countless. If it weren't for Qin Mu's extremely tough skin, I'm afraid it would have cost one hand. In this move competition, although Qin Mu missed Lin Yan's sword, his hand was also stabbed by Lin Yan's blood, which can be said to be comparable. The fight was extremely fast, and it was broken at the first touch. They confronted each other, and the two looked at each other, with serious expressions on their faces. Lin Yan never imagined that Qin Mu's fist was so exquisite, and his control was beyond his imagination. It was enough to smash his sword to the side, impartial, and the force he used was just right. Being able to block his sword, what does that mean? Qin Mu could already be regarded as his formidable enemy. Even with his sword, it was just a random strike, and he didn't use his full strength. But it's not that Qin Mu didn't try his best, did he? What's even more frightening is his control, which makes people unable to figure out his bottom line, and only feels unfathomable. Although Lin Yan is proud, he is also a person who is willing to use his brain. He will not arrogantly think that only he has the whole cards, and others will lose. And Qin Mu also frowned slightly, looking at Lin Yan, as if looking at a hedgehog full of thorns. Although the power of chi and blood was not beyond his imagination, it was also more difficult than he imagined. With a move of the mind, the blood can change its shape, and a punch is like hitting a hedgehog. How can it not make people feel difficult? However, it was just difficult, not beyond Chin Emu's surprise. On the contrary, a difficult opponent can even arouse the fighting spirit in Chin Emu's heart. A smile appeared on his face. Very well, let me see how powerful the Blood Chi Realm Master is. As you wish. Lin Yan nodded. Each of the disciples of the Liang sect has strong confidence in their own power. The most obvious feature of strong bull magic art is its great strength. Comparing strength, none of the disciples of Liang sect will accept it. Brother, give me a punch. Lin Yan let out a loud cry, and blood gushed out from his whole body, exuberant like wolf smoke, and appeared outwardly, blessing his whole body, making his strength multiplied by several times, and punched Chin Mu with a punch. The huge bloody fist crushed down overwhelmingly with the momentum of wind and thunder, giving Chin Mu a feeling that the sky was about to fall. The sky is falling, who can escape? You can't hide, you can only bear it. Chin Mu's fist technique can be said to be a master of fist technique, and even he did not expect that Lin Yan has such an extraordinary level of fist technique in addition to his extraordinary swordsmanship. The fighting spirit in his eyes grew stronger. Well done. With a loud shout, he took a stepped forward, and fought with fists. There are no extra tricks or complicated movements, just a simple and rude punch in the opposite direction. Head-on bombing, no one backs down. Boom. Like the sound of a thunderstorm, the air was blasted by the two, and the two fists carrying unparalleled strength collided head-on. The explosive air created a violent wind out of thin air. Wen Bian, who was watching the battle under the strong wind, couldn't help closing her eyes. When she opened them, she suddenly discovered an incredible scene. In her heart, she must win Lin Yunlin, who has already set foot in the Blood Chi realm, and he has retreated 7 steps. 7 full steps. How incredible is this? You know, although Chin Mu is a core disciple and their senior brother, but he is only able to forge the 7th stage, and the cultivation base is far behind Lin Yan. Wen Bian's beautiful eyes widened, her face was full of shock, and she couldn't believe the facts in front of her. Senior brother Lin's strength is not comparable to that of senior brother. How did the elder brother cultivate? Forged body 7th stage, how can it be so strong? Wen Bian muttered to himself, his mind was in a mess, and he looked dazed. On the other side, Lin Yan looked at Owen's fist in disbelief. His fist was not injured, but he knew very well in his heart that he would never be able to throw another punch. Because of the punch just now, all the vitality and blood in his whole body have been blown away by Chin Mu. With all the blood in his body, he almost rebelled. Am I defeated in one move? Lin Yan muttered to himself, a little at a loss, unable to accept the facts. If Chin Mu's cultivation base was comparable to him, he would still be able to figure it out. But it happened that Chin Mu was only able to forge the 7th stage, and he, a master of the Blood Chi realm, was far behind in cultivation base. The majestic Blood Chi realm master was defeated by the little rookie of the body forging 7th stage with a single punch. If this matter got out, Lin Yan's face would definitely be lost. Fortunately, Chin Mu is not common's body forging 7th stage, he is the only core disciple of the Liang sect, and their senior brother. Lin Yan can only persuade himself in this way secretly in his heart, otherwise, he is afraid that he will be overwhelmed and will die. Defeating Lin Yan, who had just stepped into the Blood Chi realm with one punch, Chin Mu didn't feel much complacent, all of this was within his expectations. After reading so many books in the study, he already has a good understanding of the methods and combat power of the Blood Chi realm. Although, it seems that his cultivation base is still the 7th stage forged body, but how can he be the 7th stage forged body of common? He is a man who has tempered his body to the cells of his whole body. Although it was only the preliminary tempering, but only the preliminary tempering gave him a power that even the Blood Chi realm could hardly match. At least the Blood Chi realm only opens up the 12 cannons, that is, people below the Blood Chi realm 7th stage, and their strength is definitely not as great as him. Moreover, his control has reached the micro level. Even if he is a master of Blood Chi 7th stage, he may not be his opponent. The fight against Lin Yan was simply because Chin Mu wanted to confirm his current strength in detail. Junior brother Lin, don't underestimate yourself. After all, I am not common's body forging 7th stage. You must not treat me as a common body forging realm disciple, or I am afraid that it will be difficult for you to recover from your mentality. Actually, your strength is already very good. In the early stage of Blood Chi realm, among the true disciples of the third floor and below, your strength can also be ranked in the forefront. After the war, Qin Mu comforted Lin Yan with a serious face. Hearing Lin Yan rolling his eyes in his heart, is this comforting me? Or are you boasting that you are extraordinary? But muttering to muttering, the way he looked at Qin Mu changed, there was no pride of a Blood Chi realm master in his eyes, only awe. Although it was only a little discussion, it made him completely sober, and deeply realized that Qin Mu is a monster, a big pervert. Pretend in front of evildoers, isn't this looking for a hammer? Eldest brother, is it true that the return to Origin Realm's strong bull demon art is really so strong? Finally, Lin Yan asked a doubt. Qin Mu smiled and said meaningfully, exercising is not just a realm. As long as you are still practicing and want to become stronger, you can continue to practice. Lin Yan nodded, half understood. Qin Mu didn't care if he understood or not. For Lin Yan, who hasn't even practiced the great completion of strong bull magic art, it's a good way to temper the cells of the whole body. It's hard for him to even comprehend the concept. That is another world, another level of body forging. This kind of level leap is far wider than the gap between the body forging realm and the aperture realm. And he, Qin Mu, has already crossed this insurmountable gap. For him, the road ahead is as smooth as walking on the ground, and it is bright. Brother, did I practice this punch right? In the martial arts hall of the Niu Demon Palace, Lin Yan put on a boxing fist, looking at Qin Mu with a respectful face but expectant eyes. Several days have passed since the first competition between Qin Mu and Lin Yan. Ever since Qin Mu punched him, Lin Yan never had the idea that the Blood Chi realm must be stronger than the body forging realm. He is a smart man, in terms of the entire Liang sect, who can compare to Qin Mu, the senior brother, in terms of strong Niu Mo Gong attainments. As a result, he used the reason of asking for advice to discuss with Qin Mu from time to time, and stayed in the Bull Demon Palace in a shameless way. Qin Mu is also happy to have a free sparring partner by his side. Now that Lin Yan has attached so much importance to body forging cultivation technique, he will also point out Lin Yan's strong bull magic art at any time. Qin Mu has already reached an extremely high level in terms of strong Niu Mo Gong attainments. At least, he has never heard of anyone in the history of the Liang sect who could train the cultivation technique to the depth of tempering cells. Although surpassing the predecessors of the Liang sect, Qin Mu is not proud of it, because the more he tempers the cells, the more he feels the extraordinariness of the cultivation technique, strong bull demon art. At least, this cultivation technique definitely does not belong to the inheritance that Raging Flame sect can have at this level of strength. Strong Niu Mo Gong, there must be a lot of history. Qin Mu is very interested in the origin of this cultivation technique, and if he has the opportunity, he will definitely find out the origin of strong Niu Mo Gong. But that's for the future. For him now, what he does every day is eat, sleep, practice and beat Lin Yan. That's right, hitting Lin Yan. With Lin Yan as a free sparring partner, and also as a sparring partner of Blood Chi, Qin Mu will naturally not let it go. According to his principle of maximizing his benefits, he almost maximizes the value of Lin Yan's sparring partner. All the combat cultivation techniques learned from the small Tibetan scripture pavilion in the study were applied to Lin Yan. Every day, they change their tricks and play Lin Yan to death. This also made Lin Yan deeply aware of how terrible his elder brother is. It turned out that the punch that defeated him before was not at the true level of the senior brother at all, it was just a casual punch of the senior brother. In addition to fist technique, eldest brother is actually a master of all 18 martial arts, whether it is sword technique or saber technique, he can be called a master. This makes people feel terrible. Lin Yan, who knew the truth, felt his scalp tingling. He thought that the senior brother was very evil, but he didn't expect that the senior brother was so evil that it was far beyond his imagination. For Qin Mu, he went from being awed to being full of respect, then to admiration, and finally almost turned into Qin Mu's most fanatical believer. From the inside to the outside, he could see his admiration for Qin Mu from the bottom of his heart. It can be said that Qin Mu has already conquered Lin Yan from body to soul. Your fist, there is still a big problem. Looking at Lin Yan's strong Niu Mo Gong, Mu frowned slightly, and began to point out what Lin Yan was wrong. To be honest, Lin Yan's strong bull demon palace has achieved a small success, almost a great completion. In the Liyang sect, in terms of attainments, he can already be said to be a famous figure. But in Mu's eyes, Lin Yan's strong bull demon art is full of flaws and very stiff. Although in terms of moves, your punches are perfect, and there are almost no mistakes. But don't forget, punches are dead, but people are indeed alive. If you can't understand this truth, then you will never even think about strongly in this life. Niu Mogong, great completion. Mu commented slowly. For this evaluation, if it was someone else in Sect, Lin Yan would definitely blow his mouth. However, the person in front of him was Mu, and he was 100% convinced of Mu, a senior brother who had gone through all kinds of torture these days. Then what should I do? Every nonsense, Lin Yan asked for advice directly. It is very simple and very difficult to make strong bull demon art great completion, that is to make the fist technique look like a cow demon, not like a bull demon. After all, people are humans, and it is impossible to become a cow. All you need to do is, let strong Niu Mogong adapt to me. Mu laughed. Adapt to yourself, Lin Yan murmured, a trace of confusion flashed in his eyes. It's still the same sentence, boxing is dead, people are alive, you have to let the boxing adapt to you, not you to adapt to the boxing. Ask your own heart, what kind of boxing do you need? What do you think, what martial Dao do you want, and what kind of martial Dao? Mu tirelessly trained. The confusion in Lin Yan's eyes became lighter and lighter, and the light in his eyes became brighter and brighter. In the end, he seemed to be in the midst of an epiphany, standing there quietly, without putting on a fist, but gave there is a sense of suffocation as if there is a peerless bull demon standing there. I understand. Ha 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 ha. Suddenly, Lin Yan laughed out loud, crazy. Lin Yan, strong bull magic art great completion. The news of Lin Yan's great completion shocked the whole sect. Have you heard that Lin Yan, the newly promoted true disciple, has practiced strength bull demon art to great completion? Really or not? There are not many people in our clan who can practice strong Niu Mogong to great completion, not even some elders in the Aperture realm. Of course it's true. I saw with my own eyes that Lin Yan stood in the same place, but looked like an unrivaled bull monster. This is definitely great completion's strong bull magic art. Then this kid will really soar into the sky. First the breakthrough blood chi realm, and then strong bull demon art great completion. This kid's rising trend in the future will be out of control. Flying to the sky is soaring to the sky, but don't forget, there are people who are more accomplished than him in the strong bull demon art. You mean Mu? That is indeed a monstrosity, but it's a pity that Lin Yan's life is not at the right time. If Mu doesn't show up, he might be a strong candidate for the next head of my Liyang sect. It's really a pity. A group of people were talking, their faces full of regret. The mountain where the true disciples of Liyang sect is located is called True Dragon Court, which means that the true disciples who live here are all true dragons. The Junlongyuan, which was rarely populated in the past, is indeed full of people at this moment. It can be called a sea of people. They can't see the end at a glance. They all gather around the ring in the middle, watching the battle between the two true disciples on the ring. Lin Yan, a newly promoted disciple of True Biography, picked 18 True Biography in a row, beheading 18 old True Biography students who were a few years earlier than him one by one. Attracting the attention of many people, a large number of outer sect inner disciples poured in to watch the battle. Today's battle is very important to all the disciples watching the battle, because it is the most critical battle in the early stage of Lin Yan's invincible blood chi realm. His opponent is Han Yu, the most famous person in the early stage of the blood chi realm in the True Biography. There is a saying among the true disciples, whoever can defeat Han Yu will be the first person in the early stage of the blood chi realm. The blood chi realm early stage includes the blood chi realm first stage to the third stage. The blood chi realm first stage is one level, and the strength gap is huge. Lin Yan, who has just stepped into the blood chi realm, is only the first stage of the blood chi realm, and is only a short step away from the third stage of the blood chi realm. For Han Yu, who can break through to the fourth stage of the blood chi realm, there is a huge gap in cultivation base. Originally, Han Yu didn't regard Lin Yan as an opponent at all, and even paid a little attention to him. The only thing he knew about Lin Yan was that he was a lucky boy, a person who abruptly broke through to the blood chi environment. However, with Lin Yan's streak of victories these days and beheading all 18 true disciples, Han Yu couldn't sit still. 18 consecutive defeats, strong bull magic art, great completion. These 2 points have made Lin Yan famous, and he has become the most dazzling existence among the true disciples. If he refuses to fight, then other people will think that he is afraid of fighting, and it will be a huge blow to his reputation and prestige. As a result, Han Yu had no choice but to stand up and accept Lin Yan's challenge. In the arena, unlike Han Yu, who had complicated thoughts and many different thoughts, Lin Yan was in a calm mood. Although he has defeated 18 true disciples one after another in the past few days, making him famous, and there are even a lot of people in his place. Unfortunately, I feel that he was born at the wrong time. But Lin Yan didn't think too much about it. After being tortured by senior brother Qin Mu day and night, and seeing all kinds of unimaginable methods of senior brother, his eyes were wide open, and he no longer looked down on the true scriptures in the true scriptures. Disciple. If it wasn't for him not being an opponent in the middle stage of the blood chi realm, even though his combat power has skyrocketed, I'm afraid he would have challenged those true disciples of the blood chi realm middle stage long ago. To him, defeating Han Yu was just to prove that the pain he suffered day and night from being tortured by his elder brother these days was not in vain. True biography Lin Yan. True Han Yu. Please. Please. On the arena, the two saluted each other. Lin Yan's whole body was shaken immediately, and a terrifying aura radiated out, like an unrivaled bull demon appearing in front of the world, which immediately shocked the audience. That's right, absolutely right, this is great completion's strong bull magic art. I didn't expect it, I really didn't expect it. Lin Yan actually achieved the great completion of strong bull magic art. Although he is the first stage of the blood chi realm, with great completion's strong bull demon art, he may not be able to fight Han Yu, a master of the blood chi realm third stage. Ha ha ha, it seems that this battle is a battle between dragons and tigers. Quote. Down below, there was an uproar among the spectators, all of them stared in shock at Lin Yan, who looked like an unrivaled bull monster on the ring. Snort. Seeing that Lin Yan had indeed practiced strong Niu Mogong to great completion, Han Yu's face became serious and became unsightly. Not to be outdone, however, he let out a cold snort, and immediately the blood in his whole body boiled and burst out. The whole person was wrapped in a thick blood light and turned into a blood shadow, but this blood shadow gave people an extremely domineering feeling. Lin Yan smiled lightly, raised his hand and slapped, facing Han Yu's punch head on. Snapped. Without exception, Han Yu's punch was easily caught by Lin Yan. Looking at the extremely ugly Han Yu, Lin Yan shook his head and chuckled. Brother Han Yu, your cultivation base is indeed higher than mine, but your control over power is very, very low. Regardless of Han Yu's increasingly ugly face, Lin Yan had a confident smile on his face. I have far more control over power than you, let alone my power. Not worse than you. As soon as the voice fell, he raised his hand and punched him. This punch seemed ordinary, but Han Yu could hardly find any chance to dodge it, so he could only punch it hard. For Lin Yan's claim that his strength is not inferior to him, he scoffed in his heart, and he didn't believe that Lin Yan, who was 2 heavens behind him in cultivation base, could stand shoulder to shoulder with him in strength. Immediately waved his fist and carried it hard. Boom. It was just this punch that immediately changed his face, and his heart was even filled with fear. He never imagined that the power of Lin Yan's punch had already surpassed his imagination. It's like the Milky Way crashing down from the sky, unrivaled. Terrifying power erupted suddenly, crushing the strength of his whole body in an instant. His blood boiled and roared, rolling inside like a rebellion. Snapped. With one punch, this Han Yu, known as the #1 person in the early stage of blood chi, was blown out of the ring by Lin Yan, who was 2 days worse than him in cultivation base, and fell hard to the ground, embarrassed and powerless. Get up. Total defeat. Vulnerable. Hiss. There was a sound of air conditioning in the audience, and everyone looked at the ring like a monster, as if Lin Yan was just warming up. Impossible. This is impossible. How can you be so strong? Han Yu was paralyzed on the ground, looking at Lin Yan in disbelief, screaming crazily. This blow was too great for him. He couldn't believe it. His majestic blood chi third stage cultivation base, in the hands of Lin Yan, who had just stepped into the blood chi realm, turned out to be vulnerable. Even if Lin Yan has practiced strong Niu Mogong to great completion, the gap cannot be so big. Not only Han Yu couldn't believe the facts in front of him, but even the people watching the battle were all in an uproar and stunned. Isn't this too strong? Strong Niu Mogong great completion, how can it be so strong? Use the blood chi first stage cultivation base to hit half a foot and step into the blood chi fourth stage. Incredible. This Lin Yan is simply a peerless talent. There was Qin Mu first, and then there was Lin Yan. Is my Liang sect going to rise? I just don't know, is it Qin Mu Chang or Lin Yan Chang? It must be Lin Yan. Lin Yan is a master who can beat half a foot into the blood chi fourth stage. Qin Mu is only a body forging realm. How can he be Lin Yan's opponent? It's a pity. If there is no Qin Mu, then Lin Yan is the most powerful candidate for the next generation sect leader of my Lai Yangzong. Yeah, what a pity. In the end, there was a lot of regret, and everyone was sorry for Lin Yan's untimely life. Everyone's exclamations and regrets poured in like a tidal wave, hearing Lin Yan's ears, but made the corners of his mouth twitch. The most powerful next generation sect leader candidate. Untimely. Better than Qin Mu. He heard these words very harshly, reminding him of the time when he was crazily resplendent by the senior brother, and secretly said in his heart, if I let you know what a terrifying evildoer the senior brother is, you will never have such thoughts. Quote. He sighed in his heart, even if he could easily defeat Han Yu who had the first person in the blood chi early stage, but facing senior brother Qin Mu, he didn't have the slightest confidence not to say anything but was still very afraid. Because Qin Mu's strength is unfathomable, with countless means, and the evildoer is terrifying. Even now, he still can't see clearly how strong the elder brother is. However, he is not curious about how strong the senior brother is, he just needs to know that the senior brother is very strong. Unbelievable, incomprehensible. Looking at Han Yu's puzzled expression, Lin Yan shook his head lightly, and laughed at himself, my ability is not very good. Compared with senior brother, I am far behind. The reason why I can defeat you so easily is nothing but practice makes perfect. The unbearable days of being beaten by Qin Mu can't help but come to mind. After being beaten a lot, you will naturally know how important it is to control your own power. Lin Yan is so self-deprecating, but in the eyes of others, it is really pretending. Many people rolled their eyes when they heard this, and secretly complained, it's not a big deal in itself to defeat Han Yu, the first person in blood chi early stage, with a single punch from blood chi first stage. This pretense is too blunt, bad review. Some people didn't complain deep in their hearts, but laughed and said, Brother Lin Yan is joking, if your ability is not very good, then we are nothing. That's right, senior brother Lin Yan used the blood chi first stage to easily defeat the master who had half a foot in the blood chi fourth stage. With this strength, this leapfrogging challenge method, I'm afraid you can't find it if you search the entire sect. Someone he echoed, flattering Lin Yan wildly, praising Lin Yan to the sky, bragging as if only Lin Yan is the real proud son of the Sun Emperor, and everyone else is bragging. Flattery is very pleasant to hear, but Lin Yan's face changed drastically when the senior brother was involved, and he quickly stopped him, shut up. Shut up all of them. Looking at everyone with a serious face, his eyes were full of fanaticism and said, how can my meager ability be compared with the senior brother? If the senior brother is compared to the lofty Lai Yang, then Lin is just there is a huge gap between the dull dust on the ground, and there is no Dharma phase in the sky or on the ground. Remember, senior brother will always be our senior brother. If I hear someone speak ill of him, don't blame Lin for disregarding the friendship between senior brother and senior brother. Everyone who said this was dumbfounded, and wanted to refute, but because of Lin Yan's fanatical expression like a fanatic, they obediently shut up and dared not speak. Leaving aside these words, Lin Yan left in a hurry, leaving the others confused and full of doubts. Who can tell me, what's going on here? How could senior brother Lin Yan worship Qin Mu so much? One person couldn't help being curious, and asked the person beside him. Yeah, I'm also at a loss. Qin Mu was able to practice strong Niu Mo Gong to return to origin, but he is a rare talent in my Liang sect for 1,000 years, but with the strength of senior brother Lin Yan, there's no need to worship Qin Mu so much, right? This is very strange. Is there any hidden secret in it? The only thing that can be explained is that Qin Mu is stronger than senior brother Lin Yan, which is why senior brother Lin Yan worships him so much, but Qin Mu is just a 7th stage cultivation base. How could he be the opponent of a blood qi realm master? Not to mention, senior brother Lin Yan is no ordinary blood qi master. Could it be that we all miscalculated Qin Mu's strength? Quote. Everyone echoed, their faces full of doubts. Lin Yan should have punched Han Yu, the number 1 person in the blood qi early stage. The whole clan was shocked, but because of Lin Yan's words, almost everyone was wondering about Qin Mu's strength. Lin Yan really said that. In the True Dragon courtyard, in a courtyard that occupies a huge area, a young man questioned the person standing below with a blank expression. This young man's name is Zhang Luoshan. He is a rare blood qi 7th stage master among the true disciples, and he is quite prestigious among the true disciples. If there is no exception, once he grows up and enters the refining realm, then he will definitely become a powerful elder. Because of his future, many disciples flocked to him, and he was quite prestigious among the true disciples. Lin Yan, strong Niu Mogong, great completion, using the cultivation base of blood qi 1st stage, easily defeated Han Yu, who is known as the first person in blood qi early stage, with 1 punch. Moved. Because no matter how you look at it, with Lin Yan's performance like this, he must be one of the strong candidates for sect leader in the Liang sect in previous years. How can this not make him pay attention? Keep him from moving. However, what Lin Yan said to all the disciples in the True Dragon Academy shocked him even more. It was supposed to be the most powerful candidate for the position of sect leader, but to the sudden appearance of the core disciple, the titular senior brother Qin Mu, he should be so respected, which is hard to understand. Qin Mu is very famous in the Liang sect because he has practiced strong Niu Mo Gong to the return to origin state, and in one fell swoop he has become a core disciple who is difficult to get out of the Liang sect for 1,000 years, and has become the nominal disciple of all the Liang sect disciples, big brother. However, in the eyes of many true disciples, Qin Mu is not worthy of being their senior brother. This has nothing to do with talent, only with strength. No matter how talented Qin Mu is, in the eyes of many true disciples, including Zhang Luoshan, he is the strength of the 7th stage of body forging. Is it possible for a person who has forged a 7th stage body to let Zhang Luoshan, the majestic blood qi 7th stage, willingly call him a big brother? Originally, Lin Yan's sudden rise made his eyes shine, and he felt a faint push from behind, making Lin Yan and Qin Mu fight each other for the sect leader position. However, this idea was just born, but suddenly died. No one thought that Lin Yan, who could compete with Qin Mu for the position of sect leader, would admire Qin Mu so much, acting like a fanatical believer of Qin Mu. This was not only puzzled by Zhang Luoshan and others, but also its depressed vomiting blood. Who wouldn't be angry if the plan died just after it was conceived and hasn't been implemented yet? That's what he said, senior brother Lin Yan, he seems to be Qin Mu's. The man who answered had a complex look on his face, and racked his brains to find a word to describe it, loyal son of a fool. Hearing this, Zhang Luoshan's face instantly became serious. Although this person's description of the relationship between Lin Yan and Qin Mu was not very accurate, the meaning was correct. That is, Lin Yan is clearly from Qin Mu. And this was precisely the reason why Zhang Luoshan's face was gloomy. If Lin Yan belonged to Qin Mu, then this Qin Mu would be terrible. If Lin Yan is tied up with interests, it means that Qin Mu is a person with a deep city. Although such a person is difficult to deal with, he can still be dealt with and can fight hard. But if Qin Mu used force to conquer Lin Yan, then... Zhang Luoshan was trembling all over, a look of fear flashed in his eyes, he shook his head frantically, and muttered to himself, this is absolutely impossible. If Qin Mu's strength is stronger than Lin Yan's, doesn't that mean that all his thoughts have to be cut off? The future Liang sect will definitely become Qin Mu's one-word hall. A sect leader who says nothing but 9 cauldrons and no one can refute it, that's too scary. Zhang Luoshan absolutely does not want to see such a hopeless and dark future. He has ideals, and he also has revenge. The only thing missing is a stage for him to display his talents. But in the future, there won't even be a stage, so what's the ideal? Revenge ass. Test him, you must test him. Zhang Luoshan's face changed drastically, with Rare's madness in his expression, he yelled crazily. The agitation of emotions made the people around him stunned. The true disciples sitting around him all showed hesitation. Qin Mu is the only core disciple after all, our nominal senior brother, how can we test his real strength? Also, it's unbelievable that he can conquer Lin Yan by forging the cultivation base of the 7th stage. Hearing the doubts and incomprehensions of the senior brothers around him, Zhang Luoshan calmed down, narrowed his eyes slightly, and said with a smile, because he is our senior brother in name, then it is better for us to test him. Isn't he our senior brother? Then let the senior brother instruct the younger brothers and sisters in martial arts. This request is not too much, right? The surrounding true disciples' eyes lit up, and they all nodded, not too much, not too much. But some people still hesitated. But anyone with a discerning eye can see that we are testing him, the elders won't let it go, will they? Zhang Luoshan smiled when he heard this, waved his hands calmly and said, Elders, don't worry, elders want to know Qin Mu's true strength more than us. Having said that, the worries of the other true disciples disappeared, and they immediately began to come up with ideas on how to test Qin Mu. None of those who can become true disciples is a fool, let alone more than a dozen of them. You talk to me, and soon a relatively complete plan will be released. On this day, in the martial arts hall, he had just put on a boxing frame, and was about to turn on the accelerator, speeding up his training 10 times as usual. Suddenly his face changed slightly, he turned his head and shouted outside the hall, quickly bring the blood Qi Dan. I just felt a mighty energy gushing out from every cell in the depths of his body, obviously his cultivation base realm couldn't suppress it anymore. After so many days of tempering the cells in his whole body are extremely powerful. In terms of the vitality and energy contained in the cells, even the elders in the refining state cannot compare to him. This is a gap in the level of life. Even though he is no match for the elders in the aperture refinement realm at all, but different life levels are different. Just like an adult tiger can easily slap a young dinosaur to death, can a tiger become a creature comparable to a dinosaur? This is simply impossible. It is precisely because of this that Qin Mu suppresses the own cultivation base and prevents himself from breaking through, so as to make the own foundation deeper and stronger, make the own foundation deeper, and make the own life level higher. If other people do it, even if they can achieve the same level as Qin Mu and can practice strong Niu Mo Gong to the point where they can temper cells, they will definitely not be as fast as Qin Mu, and these are all thanks to the accelerator. Even though he tried his best to suppress his own cultivation base, after turning on the 10-fold acceleration, his cultivation base improvement speed was still much faster than others. It's the sect leader, the steward Niu, who was waiting outside the hall, heard Qin Mu's order, and without asking why, simply nodded and went straight to the warehouse. It was hard to imagine that with his obese figure, he ran like a gust of wind, at an extremely fast speed. The warehouse is not close to Yanwu Hall, but Butler Niu ran back and forth in a short period of time. Last sect leader, here. Then, several bottles of medicine pills filled with qi and blood pills were sent with both hands, and there were dozens of pills in each bottle. Qin Mu didn't even look at it, pulled out the bottle, poured it into his mouth like eating jelly beans. Dozens of qi and blood pills melted at the entrance, turning into a vast warm current, pouring into his physical strength. And his body seemed to have fainted from hunger, frantically devouring the majestic medicinal power. Not enough, not enough. Qin Mu sensed it for a while, then shook his head slightly, not caring about the stunned Niu steward who was already watching, poured the other bottles of qi and blood pills into his mouth, and swallowed them all at once. The majestic medicine power, like a roaring river, washed over his whole body, rushing into his limbs and bones. Go down. Qin Mu waved his hand and waved away the stunned steward Niu who was watching. Butler Niu nodded in a daze. He didn't know how he got out of the Hall of Martial Arts. When he thought of the scene where Qin Mu was eating qi and blood pills like eating jelly beans, he felt his scalp go numb. How many bottles of qi and blood pills? That's more than 100. Even with the existence of qi and blood realm, at most 2 or 3 of them can be digested a day. If there are too many, then they cannot be digested, and they must die. But what about Qin Mu? Swallowed more than 100 pills at once, and still acted as if nothing had happened. As expected of a young sect leader who eats 3 bowls a day. In the end, Steward Niu was full of admiration. He has always admired people who eat a lot, but who did not make him so adored by Qin Mu. He was almost full of admiration. In Yanwu Hall, Qin Mu didn't care about Steward Niu's thoughts at all, and swallowed more than 100 qi and blood pills, which had replenished his qi and blood. Then breakthrough. With a murmur, Qin Mu started to move. Breakthrough realm is very difficult for other people, because they have to use their pitiful strength to break through the invisible shackles. But for Qin Mu, the breakthrough cultivation base is extremely simple. He is like the dam that stores water. When it does not break through the cultivation base, it is uncomfortable to be squeezed by the full hectares. And breakthrough, for him, is to let go of the gate and release the water inside. This is a process of opening the lock. And how much force does it take to open a thing that is locked by yourself? Don't you just open it whenever you want? As the shackles were unlocked, a vast amount of qi and blood gushed out from the body crazily, roaring crazily, and accompanied by a few clicks of unlocking, Qin Mu's aura suddenly soared several times. It surged to the highest peak, and then slowed down. Until the end, Qin Mu's aura became weaker and weaker, and finally disappeared at all, standing there quietly like a common person who doesn't know martial arts. Others can't see it, but Qin Mu himself is very clear that he is already an 8th stage forging body. What he knows better is that his body forging 8th stage is countless times stronger than the common people's forging 8th stage. The qi and blood contained in his whole body is really terrifying. If possible, he can open his veins at any time, condense his refining blood, and step into the blood qi realm. But he didn't. Because of the realm body forging realm, he didn't cultivate to the limit. Once he has cultivated to the limit, then he can be said to be the most terrifying body forging realm in the world. We want to see Big Brother. Everyone be quiet, young master sect leader is practicing, and no one will be seen. The noise from outside the hall poured into Qin Mu's ears, which surprised him. His bull demon palace used to be very quiet, because everyone except him was servants, and they dared not even speak loudly, let alone loudly. Noisy. Immediately Shi Shiren walked out of the martial arts hall and asked outside the hall, what happened? Responding to sect leader, a lot of true disciples suddenly came to see you. Steward Niu stopped them all and is dealing with this matter, because you have ordered that no one should disturb you when you were practicing. The maid who was asked hurriedly after saluting, he replied. A lot of true disciples want to see me. Qin Mu's eyes flashed an inexplicable look, as if he had thought of something, but if he wanted to confirm it, he had to confirm it, and waved his hand and said, go and call Steward Niu in. The Bull Demon Palace is Qin Mu's private domain, and no one dares to listen to what he says. Immediately there was a servant, who trotted out. After a while, the Steward Niu, who was sweating profusely and out of breath, ran in all the way, and saluted Qin Mu from a distance. I have seen you, sect leader. Qin Mu nodded slightly, and didn't care about so many formalities, and immediately asked, what are those true disciples outside here for? They're here to ask you, young sect leader. Steward Niu's answer stunned Qin Mu, but he quickly took a deep look at Steward Niu and scolded with a smile, tell me, what happened? Quote. Laughing and cursing, but Butler Niu didn't dare to take it as a joke. Looking at Qin Mu's smile, he felt a chill in his heart, and immediately said, this matter has to start with senior brother Lin Yan. Lin Yan, what's the matter with him? A trace of surprise flashed in Qin Mu's eyes. Some time ago, Lin Yan had been soaking in his bull demon palace, and he was beaten up by him, which made Lin Yan suspicious of his life. After Lin Yan left, Qin Mu thought that Lin Yan was scared of being beaten, so he didn't dare to come again. But listening to Steward Niu's words, I'm afraid there are still some things going on. Faced with Qin Mu's inquiry, Steward Niu dared not hide anything, and immediately told everything he knew. Listening to Butler Niu talking about Lin Yan's big commotion in Sect these days, Qin Mu enjoyed it, and he quickly came to his senses, why these true disciples outside the palace came to him. He smiled and said, so, this trouble is caused by Lin Yan. Isn't that right? If senior brother Lin Yan didn't say what he admired the young sect leader, how could he provoke these true disciples? Butler Niu complained bitterly. It's all right now, the true disciples from outside the palace, at least hundreds, and even thousands of inner sect outer sect disciples who came to see the excitement. They all want to see you, sect leader, take action and test your strength. Speaking of this, Steward Niu showed his loyalty with his chest. Young sect leader, don't worry, as long as my old cow is here, I will never let them enter the half-step of the devil's palace, and I will never let them try to get out. You are truly powerful. No, no need. Qin Mu shook his head, his eyes sparkled. Lin Yan's outstanding performance shocked Sect, and his admiration for Own made many people who didn't pay attention to Own at all pay attention. Invest in yourself. After all, he is the only core disciple of Liang Sect, the legitimate heir of Sect leader. His every move involves the interests of many people in Sect. Hidden strength. Qin Mu smiled, full of confidence. It's not necessary at all. They want to test my strength, so let them do it. From the beginning to the end, Qin Mu had no intention of hiding his strength. On the contrary, what happened to Lin Yan this time gave him an opportunity to build his own team. Although Hu Elder said that once he becomes the Sect leader, then he will have absolute power and can really do a word of 9 cauldrons. But Qin Mu would not be so naive to think that once he takes the position of Sect leader, he can really say a word about 9 cauldrons and no one dares to refute it. He firmly believes in one sentence, that is, strength represents the right to speak. Without strength, even if he sat in that position, he would still be a puppet to be manipulated by others. If he wanted to truly be the 9 cauldrons, the undeniable Sect leader of the Sun Sect, he not only needed to be strong personally, but he also needed to master a group of forces that could serve him to the death. To build a team and win people's hearts, what better candidates than these true disciples? These true disciples, even if they don't talk about the future, only talk about the present, they are all the mainstays of the Liang Sect. Once the true disciples are settled and subdued, there will be no suspense for him to secure the position of Sect leader in the future, and no one in the Liang Sect will be able to resist. Because his name is right and proper, and he occupies righteousness. If you want to regain the true disciples, the simplest and most effective way is to subdue them. After all, it is the world of martial Tao, everyone recognizes personal strength. Without strength, who will listen? Not to mention subduing others. Since it was an opportunity that Lin Yan created for me with great difficulty, then I shouldn't miss it. Qin Mu smiled slightly, but Steward Niu was taken aback when he heard this. Opportunity created by Lin Yan. What are you kidding? Isn't this causing big trouble? However, even he doesn't know Qin Mu's true strength. As for the sparring between Qin Mu and Lin Yan, no one saw him or even the entire Bull Demon Palace. So listening to Qin Mu's words, he was at a loss. Chapter 31. Eldest brother has come out. Get out of the way, get out of the way. Wait, don't anyone rob me, I want the first one. Let go of senior brother, let me come. Quote. Seeing the figure of Qin Mu appearing from the Bull Demon Palace, everyone outside the palace was excited, their faces were full of excitement, and even many true disciples looked eager to try, rubbing their fists. This scene is not like coming to see the big brother at all, but more like coming to teach Qin Mu, the big brother, a lesson. Even though Qin Mu had expected that he would suddenly become the only core disciple of the Raging Flame Sect and the senior brother of all the disciples, which was somewhat unpopular, but he was still taken aback when he saw this scene. How unpopular are you? There are so many people who want to teach themselves a lesson. Otherwise, there would be at most a dozen people who wanted to test their own strength, and there would never be so many people. People's hearts are not ancient. Seeing this scene, Qin Mu was heartbroken. But he pretended not to know anything on his face, and asked with a smile, "Everyone, I don't know why you came to see Qin." With a smile on his face and an ignorant look, others couldn't see anything, but showing the Steward Niu behind him gave him a chill. The more he knew about Qin Mu, the more he was in awe of Qin Mu, and the more he felt that Qin Mu was unfathomable and the city was extremely deep. He originally thought that Qin Mu was just a lucky kid who was lucky enough to practice the strong Niu Mo Gong to return to origin, and was also a martial idiot who didn't care about other things at all. But now it seems that he was really wrong. Let's not talk about how he subdued Lin Yan. Now, the ignorant face and the smile on his face made Steward Niu deeply realize that Qin Mu is really too lazy to care about other things and concentrate on martial Tao. But it doesn't mean that Qin Mu doesn't know anything about other things. Under this ignorant smile that looks like a little white rabbit, there is a devil hidden. Thinking of this, Steward Niu lowered his head even lower, staring at the ground, and didn't dare to take a second look at other things. Eldest brother, all the senior brothers came here today because they heard that senior brother Lin Yan highly respected you, and couldn't help but yearn for it. I hope that senior brother can give you some pointers. The first one to stand out was an ordinary true disciple, the cultivation base of blood chi 3rd stage, with a mediocre appearance, and it seemed that he had been withdrawn by someone, but even so, as soon as he spoke, the scene suddenly became quiet and the noise not there. Many people are watching him, watching his every move. Tips. Is it just pointers? Qin Mu asked with a smile. Even though the true disciple spoke yin and yang strangely, he didn't get angry at all. It would be even better if I could compete with the big brother and see the real ability of the big brother, ha ha ha. The true master smiled with joy on his face. Are you all here for this? Qin Mu nodded slightly, then turned to look at the other true disciples. As for the inner sect outer sect disciples, he didn't ask, because these inner sect outer sect disciples were purely for watching of. That's right. Hundreds of true disciples nodded their heads one after another, and then said loudly, "Brother, please give me some pointers. Big brother, please advise. Big brother, please advise." Quote. More than 100 true disciples are all masters of the blood chi realm, their voices are loud and imposing, and their petitions continue for a long time. Your request is very reasonable. Qin Mu nodded when he heard this, and said old-fashionedly, "Then I will work harder today and give advice to you." Hearing these words, the disciples of Zhouangjang Chuan made a fuss in their hearts. They had never seen such a thick-skinned person who could speak out calmly and wanted to give them advice. Although you are a big brother, you are just a body cultivator, so you can't learn from us and be more modest. Qin Mu couldn't hear the voices of the crowd, but he could also tell a thing or two from the expressions of these true disciples as if they had eaten flies. Smiling, I don't know if it's self-deprecating, or a confident smile, and pointed at the true disciple who jumped out first, and said, "Stop talking nonsense, show your true abilities, let me see how you are." True disciple Yang Hong, senior brother, please. The true disciple didn't say a word, and immediately saluted. Please. Qin Mu still had a smile on his face. Brother, be careful. Seeing that the crowd gave up a large space for the two of them, the true disciple named Yang Hong immediately roared and threw his fist at Qin Mu. With the cultivation base of his blood chi 3rd stage, the energy and blood are released, and the punch he unleashes is astonishing. Before the fist arrives, there is actually a scene of heaven and earth falling apart. With Yang Hong's punch, there was no room for him to hold his hand. The energy and blood in his whole body exploded. The violent and terrifying punch made the inner sect outer sect disciples who were watching the battle and were still in the training stage all be in an uproar, with fear on their faces. Color. The power of this punch has far exceeded the limit they can bear. Just looking at it makes them jump with fear and turn pale. Facing an existence that can threaten one's own life, and is still powerless to resist, who is not afraid? Can't even bear to look directly. They couldn't bear to see how hard Qin Mu would be hit by this punch. Brother, how about this punch? Seeing that the punch was about to hit Qin Mu's face, but Qin Mu hadn't made any moves yet, Yang Hong asked triumphantly and wildly with a ferocious smile on his face. It's okay. Qin Mu's answer was concise and clear, and he didn't see any unnecessary movements. He clasped his palm, swung his fist, and smashed directly at Yang Hong's fist. Many people exclaimed, Qin Mu really wanted to confront Yang Hong head-on. A person who has forged the 7th stage cultivation base, even if he has practiced the strong Niu Mogong to the return to origin state, it is impossible to head with a blood chi 3rd stage master. That's the cultivation base gap, that's the power gap. Everyone exclaimed, as if they saw an egg hitting a rock. Seeing this, Yang Hong sneered even more, God. Before the word, true, was uttered, the fists of the two collided with each other. The imaginary feeling of collapse did not appear. Instead, a majestic force rushed into his limbs and bones, destroying his compactness, blood. At the next moment, Yang Hong only felt that he was flying up, and his sight was rapidly retreating. Plop. It wasn't until, with a thud, that he fell hard on the floor, and the internal organs in his body seemed to be rebelling, rolling endlessly, and he couldn't lift a trace of strength in his whole body. Yang Hong finally came back to his senses. With a look of astonishment on his face, he looked at himself lying on the ground in an ugly posture like a dog eating shit. His whole body was covered with mud, and he was in a state of embarrassment. He turned his head, looked at Qin Mu with disbelief, and asked in a trembling voice, "How is it possible? How can you forge the cultivation base of the 7th stage with such terrifying power?" "Sorry, I'm already an 8th stage," Qin Mu replied softly. It was fine if he didn't answer, but Yang Hong vomited blood angrily when he answered, and even the shocked people around him rolled their eyes at the moment. Forging 8th stage, isn't that the body forging realm? How could the strength surpass Yang Hong's? Blood Qi 3rd stage master. But no matter how hard they figured it out, at this moment they also knew why Lin Yan admired Qin Mu so much. Judging from the posture of blowing Yang Hong away with ease just now, Qin Mu's strength is stronger than Lin Yan's, stronger than they imagined. It is entirely possible that Qin Mu used his own strength to make Lin Yan submit. Thinking of this, many people trembled in their hearts, but more people were excited. The idea of these people is very simple: a senior brother whose strength is lower than theirs, what they feel is shame, and it makes them feel ashamed to speak out. But if it is a senior brother whose strength far surpasses them, then there is only pride and pride. It was just a small competition. From the beginning to the end, Qin Mu only made one move, which made him win back a lot of people's hearts. This can be done. Scanning the subtle changes in the expressions on the faces of the surrounding people, Qin Mu nodded slightly, but he would never be satisfied with this. What he has to do is to take advantage of this opportunity to make the name of own, enhance his prestige, and make most of the disciples in the Liang sect turn to him and surrender to him in one fell swoop. The lion is fighting the rabbit, and I will go all out. You did a good job just now, and you have gone all out. The reason why you lost is not because you are too weak, but because I am too strong, much stronger than you. So, I just commented that your punch was okay. Remember, don't underestimate the mentality of any opponent. You must keep it up. Strong Niu Mo Gong has to continue to practice. Although you have stepped into the blood qi realm, where did the blood qi come from? Or from within your own body? Come on, as long as you are still cultivating, you can't relax in exercising, let alone stop. Qin Mu pointed out to Yang Hong in an old-fashioned way. If he said this before, people would roll their eyes, but now, he has proved his own strength. No one would dare not listen, not only listen, but also listen very seriously. Not to mention Yang Hong. Listening to Qin Mu's words, he looked ashamed, wishing he could find a crack in the ground and sneak in. He provoked the senior brother. Even if he was punched and disabled by the senior brother, the others would not say a word of no. But what about Qin Mu? Defeated him with just the right amount of strength, not to mention not hurting him, but also taught him diligently and pointed out his strengths and weaknesses. Such a big brother is the real big brother in their minds. Brother, The more he thought about it, the more he felt guilty. Yang Hong looked at Qin Mu with red eyes, and murmured, but was interrupted by Qin Mu. Okay, go and think about what I just said. Quote. Immediately, he didn't care about Yang Hong, glanced at everyone, especially the hundreds of true biography among them, and said with a smile, is there any junior brother who needs Qin's advice? Eldest brother, I'm coming. Eldest brother, me. Brother, please guide me. Quote. Seeing that Yang Hong was defeated by Qin Mu's punch, and Yang Hong had nothing to do, instead, he was really instructed by Qin Mu. The others couldn't sit still. They had completely forgotten the original intention of coming to trouble Qin Mu, and wanted to be instructed by Qin Mu. Regardless of whether Qin Mu only forged 8th stage's cultivation base, his strength far surpassed that of Yang Hong, a blood qi 3rd stage master. What everyone saw was that Qin Mu's strength was indeed superior to Yang Hong's, and even Lin Yan's. That's enough. Qin Mu has enough strength, which will naturally make everyone recognize him from the bottom of his heart. He is their big brother. This is the importance of righteousness and justice in hand. If Qin Mu is not the only core disciple of the Liang sect, even if he has the ability to overthrow all the true disciples present and show extremely strong strength, it is impossible to calm down people's hearts so easily and let so many people recognize him as a disciple. Big brother. There are many true biographies that can defeat Yang Hong, but those people are not very famous, and many people have never even heard of it. But Qin Mu is different. As the only core disciple of the Liang sect, he defeated Yang Hong of the blood qi 3rd stage with a single punch with the 8th stage cultivation base. In the eyes of all the disciples, that is a sign. It means that Qin Mu is fully capable of being their big brother. Who doesn't know that Qin Mu has practiced strong Niu Mogong to the return to origin state? And Qin Mu almost crushed Yang Hong of Blood Qi 3rd stage with cultivation base of 8th stage, and even fought across several stages, and won the battle. Where does this great power come from? Other than strong bull demon art, where else could it come from? Almost all the disciples were excited. First, Lin Yan Great Completion's strong bull magic art proved the power of this cultivation technique, with the ability to leapfrog and fight. And Qin Mu has brought the power of strong Niu demon art into full play. Body forging realm crushes blood Qi realm. This also made many disciples understand why Qin Mu became the core disciple of Lai Yangzong. The reason lies in this: strong Niu Mogong actually makes people have the ability to leapfrog challenges. Who doesn't want to be stronger? Who doesn't want to be invincible same rank? Who doesn't want to leapfrog the challenge? Who doesn't want to build a stronger foundation of own and go further on the road of martial Tao? If it is said that benefits can be given, there is no doubt that Qin Mu, as the number one person who has attained in strong Niu demon art, can bring benefits to them, and no one can give them benefits. All the disciples surrounded Qin Mu one after another, all kinds of flattering words came out of their mouths continuously. Almost all the inner sect outer sect disciples present overwhelmingly sided with Qin Mu, and even those true disciples rebelled one after another, changed sides, and fell to Qin Mu's side. Only less than 10 true disciples were left, standing alone together, looking at the lively scene in front of them. They were the ones who started this incident, but now, it is completely out of control. They have become passers-by, and they can only watch from the sidelines. Control, complete control. Don't think that you can crush everything if you have great power. If you have power and don't know how to use it, that is a great waste. You don't lack power, what you lack is control. If you can control your own power, your strength can be doubled at least. Don't you guys want to know how to advance to the next realm? To tell you, that is control. If you want to practice diligent bull demon art to a small success, great completion, or even return to origin, you need but practice your control. Kong has strength, but no matching control, so your strength is brute force. To fight, you must use your brain to fight, not use your muscles to control your brain. Practice boldly, keep practicing. I believe that as long as you keep practicing, all of you will be able to practice strong Niu Mogong to a small success in the future, great completion. Maybe even return to origin. Quote. Originally, it was a game to test Qin Mu's strength in the name of teaching, but in the end, it developed into thousands of disciples practicing martial arts in the Bull Demon Palace. These people are the ones who stayed and sincerely surrendered to Qin Mu. And Qin Mu didn't have any scruples, and he didn't hold back anything, telling everything he had learned. Strong Niu Mogong, the secret of great completion. Strong Niu Mogong, the secret of return to origin. Which one doesn't make people's blood boil? Which one does not make people want to desperately get it? It only took Qin Mu half an hour of lip service to win the hearts of thousands of disciples. But this is just people's hearts. If they want to be his team and become the sword in his hands, these people's strength is far from enough. So Qin Mu turned himself into a coach and supervised their practice. As for those who didn't stay, they didn't make trouble for themselves, and left the mountain one after another. Eldest brother, I am at fault. I will report it. The reason why so many people came to trouble you this time is all behind Zhang Luoshan's back. He wants to test your strength. That's right, big brother, and they even bribed me with qi and blood pill. Big brother. Suddenly, a true disciple seemed to lose control of his emotions and yelled loudly, attracting many true disciples to agree. After hearing this, Qin Mu just smiled slightly, waved his hands and said, "This matter has nothing to do with you, just continue practicing." Turning his head, looking at the mountain where the True Dragon Academy is located in the distance, he narrowed his eyes slightly, and muttered to himself, "Is Zhang Luoshan. Instruct these thousands of disciples to continue to practice, and not to stop until they are exhausted." Only then did Qin Mu turn to look at Steward Niu, and ordered, "Go and tell junior brother Lin Yan to call." Steward Niu didn't know why, but he also knew that this matter was not something he could inquire about. He just needed to help Qin Mu manage the Niu Demon Palace, so he nodded immediately. "Yes, young sect leader, I'll go and call senior brother Lin Yan here." After all, he immediately led the order to go down the mountain. Qin Mu didn't make Qin Mu wait long. Lin Yan and Steward Niu appeared in the great hall of the Bull Demon Palace. Qin Mu sat on the huge throne-like seat, looked down at Lin Yan from a high position, and asked softly, "Do you know what happened in my Bull Demon Palace today?" "Brother, I'm guilty. I caused all these troubles. I'll go and solve them." Lin Yan had heard about this matter a little bit, and when he saw Qin Mu's expressionless questioning, he panicked, for he was real. I was terrified of being beaten by Qin Mu. What I am most afraid of is that today's true disciples will piss off Qin Mu. Although he had never seen Qin Mu get angry, just thinking about it made Lin Yan's heart shudder and his scalp tingle. "After all, I will immediately draw my sword and leave the great hall." "Wait." Qin Mu was very satisfied with Lin Yan's attitude of solving the problems I caused. He stopped Lin Yan, who was about to leave, and said lightly, "These are small troubles, and I have already solved them. Gone." Solved. Solved. Lin Yan was taken aback by hearing this, and his heart was full of doubts, but he also knew that since Qin Mu solved these troubles, if he was still called here, something must have happened, and it still didn't matter. Small things. It's just that he didn't dare to ask, because this matter was caused by his talkativeness. "Calling you here is another matter I want to ask you," Qin Mu explained lightly, and then asked, "Do you know who Zhang Luoshan is?" Although Qin Mu also accepted the memory of the original owner of the body, at that time he was just a mere outer sect disciple who showed his eyes, and was in anxiety all day long not to be eliminated, knowing little about the sect. And Qin Mu grew too fast, from an outer sect disciple to the only core disciple of the Liang sect. Even less is known about the inner sect and true disciples. Zhang Luoshan. Lin Yan's expression was a little gloomy, and he asked, "Is Zhang Luoshan the one who plotted against Big Brother behind the scenes?" Qin Mu nodded slightly. He wanted to establish prestige in the hearts of the disciples of the Liang sect and calm people's hearts, so it was one thing to instruct all the disciples to practice kung fu, which was a kindness. But if he wanted to truly establish the prestige of his senior brother, it would not be enough to rely on kindness alone, then he had to find a target and have a fight. Only in this way can he truly establish his prestige in the Liangzong. Then, Zhang Luoshan, the person behind the scenes who manipulated this matter, is his best target. For Qin Mu, this is a war, and the war requires knowing oneself and the enemy. If one doesn't know Zhang Luoshan, how can he start? It turned out to be him, so it's no wonder. Lin Yan's face was stunned, and the doubts on his face disappeared. He knew who was behind the scenes, and with his intelligence, he quickly figured out the ins and outs of the matter. Immediately said, "Eldest brother, I have thought about this matter clearly. If my guess is correct, this matter is really caused by me. During these days, my performance has been too outstanding. There are already many voices who feel sorry for me, saying that if I were before, I am afraid that I would be the most powerful heir to sect leader. There may not be some people among them who contribute to the flames and want to push me out, to sing against you, big brother, to fight in the ring, so that they can fish out of troubled waters and get huge benefits. It's just that what caught those people off guard was that I belong to you, senior brother. This news was too explosive for those people. They were afraid that you, senior brother, would use absolute force to make me surrender. For them, it's too scary. A person who forges the 7th stage can use force to subdue a Blood Chi realm master, who is not afraid." Speaking of this, Lin Yan looked at Qin Mu's eyes full of admiration, and then said, "Zhang Luoshan, Blood Chi 7th stage cultivation base, is less than 30 years old. With his talent, he has advanced to the refinement stage and has become a refiner. The elder is a certainty. Therefore, this person has a high reputation in the sect, and in the true tradition, he is also surrounded by many people. This person is very talented, and he must be the person who least wants to see you, senior brother, take over the position of sect leader smoothly. Because once you take over the position of sect leader, his ambition and his revenge will not be realized. Therefore, he needs to test you." Lin Yan explained the ins and outs of the matter very clearly, and even guessed the enemy's plans and calculations one by one. This made Qin Mu very satisfied. He lacked someone like Lin Yan who could be both a thug and an idea. With a slight smile, he asked again, "If I want to use him to scare the chickens and scare the monkeys, to shock the group of people in the sect who still have their own ideas in their hearts, and at the same time establish my prestige in the sect, so that most of the disciples in the sect recognize me as a big brother, what should I do?" Listening to Chin Mu's words, Lin Yan's eyes sparkled, he was full of energy, and said with a smile, "This matter is easy to hear. Didn't Zhang Luoshan use the excuse of giving pointers to trouble you, senior brother? Then we will do it instead, senior brother. Announce publicly inside the door that you want to teach Zhang Luoshan. Isn't it a matter of course for a big brother to teach martial arts to his juniors and younger sisters?" Chin Mu laughed when he heard it. It's really justified. The reason why they were able to come up with a solution so easily was nothing but strength. If you have enough strength, you can just find an excuse and you can clean up a person. If the strength is not enough, Chin Mu can only bear the humiliation in a grieved manner. On a precipitous and beautiful mountain peak of La Yangzong, Chin Mu really solved his troubles. Hu Elder looked at the person in front of him with astonishment, his heart was full of astonishment. He knew that there was a group of people inside the door who wanted to make trouble. But he didn't bother, because he wanted to see how Chin Mu would solve this trouble. After all, Chin Mu is the only core disciple of the Liang sect, and he will be the sect leader in the future. If he doesn't understand Chin Mu's way of doing things in advance, then his life will be very difficult in the future. And if you want to understand a person, the best way is to keep creating troubles for him and see how he solves them. Regarding this matter, Hu Elder reached a consensus with many elders in the sect, and even the sect leader also acquiesced in this matter. Candidates for the next sect leader are not cats or dogs. How can someone be so easy to get in the position? If the candidate is not good, and the mud cannot support the wall, then the core discipline will always be the core discipline, and it is impossible to sit on the position of sect leader. What Hu Elder didn't expect was that Chin Mu solved his troubles so quickly. Yes, Elder, less sect leader, under the watchful eyes of everyone, he easily defeated Yang Hong, the true disciple of Blood Qi 3rd stage, with one punch. What's even more frightening is that the young sect leader's control over his own power has reached an extremely terrifying level. It is not an exaggeration to say that it is unfathomable. Even I don't know how strong the young sect leader is. When the steward who answered the question mentioned Chin Mu, his expression was extremely respectful. I always think of the scene I saw, and there is an unconcealable awe and a trace of admiration in my eyes. What did you say? Chin Mu, he defeated the true disciple of Blood Qi 3rd stage with one punch. Hu Elder looked of disbelief. The disciple saw it with his own eyes. The steward said with a serious face, almost swearing. How did he do it? Hu Elder hissed and took a breath. This is a leapfrog challenge, and it's not 2 levels above the first level. It's incredible to think about it. 8th stage beat the master of Blood Qi 3rd stage with one punch. Could it be that the Return to Origin Realm's strong bull demon art is really so powerful? Hu Elder had a strange look on his face. Chin Mu relied on Return to Origin's strong bull demon art, he knew this very well. However, he never realized that the Return to Origin Realm's strong Niu Mogong would be so powerful that it would allow people to have the power to leapfrog and challenge Blood Qi Realm masters in the 7th stage of body training. Moreover, he has never heard that people who have practiced strong Niu Mogong to the Return to Origin state before will have such a powerful performance. If not, La Yangzong would not be reduced to such a situation. It seems that there is still a secret hidden in it. Hu Elder murmured to himself, but his face remained calm, nodding slightly, and then said, "It seems that I need to see the sect leader again." Quote. As soon as he said he would leave, he immediately left the mountain where he was, and went straight to the head teacher Great Hall of the Liang sect. Head teacher Great Hall backyard. Sect leader, please see Hu Elder. Sect leader Zhang Muhua, who was practicing, stopped his own movements, stopped his exercises, and muttered, "What's the matter with Hu Elder at this time?" The messenger didn't reply, and Zhang Muhua didn't care, but waved his hand, "Let Hu Elder come in." Who has met the sect leader? As soon as Hu Elder came in, he saw Zhang Muhua from afar and saluted respectfully. Okay, Hu Elder, you don't have to be polite. Zhang Muhua waved his hand, cursed with a smile, and then asked, "Seeing that you are in such a hurry, there must be something important to report, right?" Yeah, Hu Elder nodded, and said solemnly, "I also just heard the news. Chin Mu has forged the 8th stage's cultivation base, and punched a Blood Qi 3rd stage's true inheritance in my sect. Disciple defeated, strength crushed." Hiss. Hearing this news, Zhang Muhua and Hu Elder were no different before, they also took a breath and looked of disbelief. You didn't make a mistake, did you? It is impossible to have such a powerful force after practicing to the return to origin state. This is power crushing. Hu Elder nodded. I think so too, but it's the truth. The only thing that can explain it is that he has found the real secret of strong Niu Mogong. Strong Niu Mogong, the real mystery. Zhang Muhua was immediately moved. The origin of this cultivation technique is mysterious, and where it came from is impossible to test, but since the Liang sect obtained it, it has been used as the sect's forging cultivation technique, and everyone in the sect has to practice it. The purpose, of course, is to find out the real mystery of the strong Niu demon art. It's just that in 10,000 years, no one in the Liang sect has really found out the mystery of strength bull demon art. This matter has naturally disappeared, and the rest is only a few words, and it still has a variety of legendary properties. But as a sect leader, other people don't know the origin of strong Niu Mogong, but Zhang Muhua knows it very well. The successive sect leaders of the Liang sect have pinned their hopes of revitalizing the sect on the strong Niu Mogong, and their expectations for the cultivation technique are not known to be high. Otherwise, there would be no rule that whoever practiced strong Niu Mogong to the return to origin state would directly become a sect core disciple. My Lai Yangzong revival is expected. Zhang Muhua was secretly excited, but turned to Hu Elder with a serious face. Can you confirm this matter? It's been confirmed. Hu Elder replied with the same solemn tone. Very good. Go and invite the other elders, except for those who have been locked up, and invite them all, not one left. Zhang Muhua immediately gave an order to the herald steward who was waiting on the side. What happened? The sect leader made such a big move. Hey, Chu Elder, aren't you in the closed-door training? You were invited out by the sect leader too. Even the elder from closed-door training has been invited out. It seems that something big has happened. Could it be that those sects around think that life is too peaceful and want to make trouble? It can't be said. The sect leader has just ordered our forces to fully retreat. Maybe they think they have an opportunity to make trouble and try to test us. I've said it a long time ago, the other sects will never die, and the relationship between us and them is never to die. What? Still want to destroy others? If we had that strength, we would have been destroyed long ago. How can we wait until now? Isn't there nothing? Quote. A group of elders who hadn't seen each other for many years gathered, making the cold head teacher Great Hall very lively. It was friends who yelled and drank, hooked shoulders to connect with each other, and those who disagreed even glared at each other and ridiculed each other. Such a lively scene has not appeared for decades. Some elders clearly remembered that such a lively scene only appeared 30 years ago when they launched a counterattack against the Ziyang sect. It was a passionate time, when the Ziyang sect was so powerful and mighty, the surrounding sect was almost breathless, and the Liang sect was also in danger. At that time, the Liang sect took the lead and joined forces with many sects to fight back against the Ziyang sect, and almost wiped out the Ziyang sect, who was the top-ranked yellow rank force before. 30 years have passed, and Xiangzong, who was invincible back then, is now lingering on his last breath, hiding in his own lair, and behaves honestly. Could it be that there is an invincible sect like back then? Many elders murmured in their hearts, and their faces were full of doubts, because they had never heard of it. Sect leader arrives. It wasn't until the figure of the sect leader appeared in the great hall that the bustling noise subsided. Seeing Zhang Muhua sitting on the sect leader's big seat, all the elders saluted one after another. I've seen the sect leader. Dozens of elders, dozens of masters in the refining realm. This is nearly 90% of the high-end combat power of Lai Yangzong now. It is also the most important family property of Lai Yangzong. I invite the elders to come here today, just for one thing. Zhang Muhua didn't talk nonsense, and directly challenged Qin Mu with the 8th stage's cultivation base, and defeated the true disciple of Blood Qi 3rd stage with one punch. Things come out. As soon as the voice fell, the entire Great Hall was in an uproar, full of unbelievable doubts. It's impossible, absolutely impossible. Even if Qin Mu has practiced strong Niu Mogong to the return to origin state, he still can't have the strength to crush Blood Qi 3rd stage. This is the gap between cultivation base. The gap is really huge. Too big. Yeah, leapfrog challenges have always been something in Legendary. I haven't seen it since I was a child. Sect leader, this is not a wrong message, is it? Sect leader, could it be that you were deceived by someone? Forging 8th stage's strength crushes blood chi 3rd stage, why does this sound so fake? Quote. A group of elders were in an uproar, and even many veteran elders stood up on the spot and began to sell their elders, beating around the bush and accusing Zhang Muhua of being cheated. Many questioning voices came. Zhang Muhua didn't show any anger, but calmly said, what if he wasn't? Strong Niu Mogong returned to origin. How could it not be? I waited for all the elders to see with my own eyes that day, that Qin Mu is indeed the return to origin realms. Strong Niu Mogong. I waited for so many people, how could it be? Ha, the eager elder, and immediately retorted, just talking. His voice became less and less, and the shock on his face became more and more. At the end, he took a deep breath and said in a daze, then what does sect leader mean? More and more elders came to their senses, and they all showed shock, with incredulous expressions on their faces, and gasped wildly. Zhang Muhua nodded with a smile. It seems that the elders have already reacted. This sect leader has reason to believe that Qin Mu has practiced strength bull demon art to a level beyond the return to origin realm, and has truly realized strength, the mystery of the bull demon art. All the elders looked at each other in blank dismay. This news was too explosive and shocking for them. Even the well-informed of them were stunned at this moment. Of course, it's hard for everyone to believe it. In fact, I am the same. Zhang Muhua smiled slightly, and was about to speak, but the messenger whispered in his ear. With a smile, he said to all the elders in the great hall, well, I just got the news that Qin Mu, as the only core disciple of the Liang sect, publicly announced that he would teach Zhang Luoshan, the true disciple of the blood chi 7th stage cultivation base. Now, it's time to prove whether he understands the true mystery of strong bull demon art. Is there anyone going with me? Go together. Go together. All the elders shouted with great interest. Trash, what a rubbish, you are a majestic blood chi 3rd stage master, but you were hanged and beaten by a mere body forging 8th stage, what do you mean you are not a trash? You have completely embarrassed us. If I were you, how can I have the face to live? Die as soon as possible. In Zhenlongyuan, an exquisite courtyard, Zhang Luoshan pointed at Yang Hong in front of him and cursed angrily. When he heard that Yang Hong was defeated by Qin Mu with a punch, his first reaction was that it was impossible. When he came back to his senses, he was completely panicked. This time to test Qin Mu's strength, because Lin Yan admired Qin Mu extremely, he guessed that Qin Mu's strength is far from being as weak as the cultivation base he showed. It's just that he wasn't sure, so he tried it out. It's just this temptation that completely shattered his illusions, and he only felt that his life was dark. What made him even more flustered was the consequences of testing Qin Mu. In any case, Qin Mu is the only core disciple of Raging Flame Sect, and is the titular elder brother of all disciples. If Qin Mu is weak, then the disciples must not take this senior brother seriously. But if Qin Mu is strong, then he can really hit the steel plate, and it is that kind of super thick steel plate. Thinking about the consequences of provoking Qin Mu, the only core disciple, Zhang Luoshan couldn't help but feel a toothache and panicked. In a panic, he no longer cared about the influence, and angrily cursed at Yang Hong. Zhang Luoshan's performance made Yang Hong very disappointed, especially after comparing with Qin Mu, he was even more disappointed. People have tempers. Although he seeks refuge with Zhang Luoshan, he is only optimistic about Zhang Luoshan's future and will surely become a powerful elder. But now, Zhang Luoshan kicked the steel plate and offended Qin Mu. The future is full of gloom, which has made Yang Hong see no hope. In any case, he acted for Zhang Luoshan to test Qin Mu. Although he failed miserably, he had to work hard without credit. If Zhang Luoshan knew how to be a man, he should be persuading him to be fine at this time. But, how did Zhang Luoshan do it? He actually treated him like a slave, like a pig or a dog, and yelled curses in front of all his seniors, without any regard for his face. Although he, Yang Hong, is an inconspicuous person among the true disciples, he is also a true disciple of the Liang sect. In terms of identity, she is the same as Zhang Luoshan, there is no distinction between superior and inferior. He also has self-esteem, temper, and wants to save face. You treat me like a pig and dog, and I treat you like a bandit. This kind of thinking is also extremely popular in the world of martial Tao and is deeply rooted in the hearts of the people. Those who pursue martial Tao, who has no self-esteem, who has no sense of self. With a whole body of skills, you don't need to hug anyone's thighs, and you can still live well. Why do you treat me like a slave, like a pig or a dog when you take refuge in you? There is a senior brother who doesn't hug your thighs, but I hug you, an extremely arrogant guy, I'm so stupid. Yang Hong was full of resentment. The more he looked at Zhang Luoshan, who was furious, the more he disliked him, and he couldn't help but any more own temper. With red eyes, he said with a sneer, Senior brother Zhang, I'll give you some face, so I'll call you brother Zhang. If I don't give you face, you, Zhang Luoshan, are you an ass? Eldest senior brother is powerful and talented. I don't feel ashamed at all when I defeated him miserably. On the contrary, I am extremely ashamed to follow a disgusting and ignorant person like Zhang Luoshan. I, Yang Hong, went blind and chose to join you. Yang Hong exploded suddenly, stunned everyone around. Zhang Luoshan was scolded for a long time and didn't come back to his senses. He pointed at Yang Hong with disbelief, unable to suppress his anger, and said in a trembling voice, you know what you're going to say? Yang Hong, do you know what you're going to say? Hurry up and apologize to senior brother Zhang. The surrounding true disciples also tried to persuade Yang Hong. Yang Hong sneered endlessly when he heard this. The anger and resentment on his face surprisingly disappeared without a trace. With an indescribable calm on his face, he said to Zhang Luo, Shen Zhang Luo, senior brother Zhang, I think you are not only blind, also deaf. I'll be honest, compared to the senior brother, you are not worth mentioning at all. The senior brother is open-minded, has a huge stomach, and his talent is 10 times or 100 times more than yours. What do you have? You have nothing. In front of senior brother, you are a piece of shit. As he spoke, he didn't care about Zhang Luoshan's angry fire-breathing eyes, and sneered, what? Are you angry? Do you really want to hit me? I'll just stand here and call you. Do you dare? I am a sincere disciple, and you are also a true disciple. What qualifications do you have to show off in front of me? After all, he looked at the others, and said lightly, brothers, I believe you have eyes. How is Zhang Luoshan's performance? Everyone knows it well, not to mention that he has offended the elder brother to death, even if he has not offended the elder brother. Brother, is such a person worth following? That's all I've said, my brothers and sisters bid farewell. After finishing speaking, Yang Hong straightened his chest and walked away. Yang Hong, you are a despicable villain, you must have been bribed by Qin Mu, you villain who betrayed the Lord and begged for glory. Pointing at Yang Hong's back, Zhang Luoshan cursed. Yang Hong turned his head back, glanced contemptuously at Zhang Luoshan, who was so angry that he was mad, and didn't speak, just dismissed it, turned around and left. Puff. Zhang Luoshan vomited blood angrily at the incomparably contemptuous look in his eyes. I will never spare him, absolutely not. Zhang Luoshan was yelled by Yang Hong angrily, and said to the people around him, is Yang Hong too much? Is he too much? There is a chance, I must kill him. That's right, senior brother Zhang Yang Hong is really too much. I didn't do a good job, and I can't stand the slightest grievance. The most exaggerated thing is that he insulted senior brother Zhang like this. He is a villain who betrays the Lord and seeks glory. Quote. Hearing Zhang Luoshan's extremely angry accusation, everyone nodded one after another, apparently agreeing with Zhang Luoshan vigorously. But everyone's expressions are very strange. As for what they think in their hearts, only God knows. Zhang Luoshan yelled at Yang Hong for half an hour through the air, and then he calmed down some of his anger. This time, he was really annoyed by Yang Hong. The betrayal of people around you is far more harmful and infuriating than the enemy. Young man, Yang Hong is really not a son of man. Zhang Luoshan shouted in pain. People around nodded in agreement, and it took a lot of effort to calm Zhang Luoshan's anger. Senior brother Zhang, it's not too late to trouble him about Yang Hong's matter. But the matter of offending Qin Mu can't be delayed any longer. A calm person immediately persuaded Zhang Luoshan. Yes, Qin Mu, no matter what, he is our nominal senior brother. If he hadn't shown that terrifying strength before, and not many senior brothers took him seriously, then we would naturally want to arrange him. But now, he has unfathomable strength, and even has the ability to leapfrog challenges like a monster. What's more frightening is that he is very good at handling people's hearts. If he wants to trouble us, I'm afraid it will be very difficult to solve. This time we really kicked the steel plate, Senior Brother Zhang. The most important thing right now is how to solve the big brother's attack. Quote. Everyone nodded in agreement, with worried expressions on their faces. It's okay not to mention it, but when it was mentioned, Zhang Luoshan also panicked. Whether it is the Raging Flame sect or other sects, there are countless lessons that tell him that anyone who provokes the authority of the big brother in the sect will definitely have a hard time in the future. Thinking of those painful lessons, he was in a bad mood, so he could only barely lift his spirits, comfort the juniors around him and himself. So what if he can leapfrog the challenge? Can he still challenge me? When he said this, everyone around him was stunned by what he said, and they all came back to their senses and nodded. He is indeed very strong, and he can crush Yang Hong, a master of Blood Qi 3rd stage, but Senior Brother Zhang is a Blood Qi 7th stage master. The great master of stage, even if he is a monster, he can't be stronger than Senior Brother Zhang. That's right, that's right. As long as his strength doesn't surpass Senior Brother Zhang, we have nothing to be afraid of. Fight against us, let's wait until his strength surpasses Senior Brother Zhang. Ha ha ha, that's it. Quote. Everyone spoke to each other, and the panic in Zhang Luoshan's heart was smoothed away. The more he listened, the more confident he became, and the more confident he became. I am stronger than him, even if I offend him, what can he do to me? Even if he sees me, no matter how unhappy he is, as long as he can't beat me for a day, he will have to swallow his anger for a day. Haha, he sees me as annoyed, but he has nothing to do with me. This feeling is so cool. Zhang Luoshan laughed wildly, and the people around him also smiled. At this moment, a person hurriedly ran in, shouting loudly as he ran, Senior Brother Zhang is not good, Senior Brother Zhang is not good. Qin Mu, as the only core disciple of Sect, publicly announced that he will fulfill his own obligation and give you advice. As soon as the man finished speaking, the smile on Zhang Luoshan's face froze, and the smiles of everyone around him also froze. After coming for a long time, Zhang Luoshan came back to his senses, swallowed, and asked the junior brother who sent the letter with an expression of disbelief, is this all true? That kid Qin Mu really announced publicly that he wants to give me advice. It's true, the entire sect was shaken. All the brothers and sisters went crazy when they heard the news, and they all ran towards us in a frenzy. The messenger disciple nodded pantingly. When he heard the news, he was also stunned. Ahem, it seems that he is going to play for real. Zhang Luoshan smiled sarcastically, his eyes suddenly became stern, and he snorted coldly, then I want to see, what is the truth about his senior brother? How strong? A mere 8th stage cultivation base, what can you do with me, Zhang? Surprisingly, the people around him didn't agree with each other, but quietly watched Zhang Luoshan speak boldly, and even a few people looked at him with strange eyes, and when they looked carefully, they actually looked a little pitiful. Zhang Luoshan looked furious in his heart, these people clearly did not trust him. On the contrary, this made him even more eager to see how powerful Qin Mu, who only had an 8th stage cultivation base, was. Can it be compared to the master of his majestic Blood Qi 7th stage? The leapfrog challenge is not so leapfrogged. The small courtyard where Zhang Luoshan lived was already surrounded by a sea of AA people, and there were still many people frantically rushing in like a tide. There is no other way. The senior brother Qin Mu publicly announced that the news of coming to give advice to Zhang Luoshan is really exciting and explosive. No matter who you are, you can't sit quietly and wait for the news, you have to come to watch the battle in person. The news that Qin Mu used cultivation base of 8th stage to overwhelm Yang Hong, the true disciple of Blood Qi 3rd stage, has spread. Although thousands of people have witnessed it with their own eyes, many people still can't believe it. Because this incident is too unbelievable and incredible. The strength of forging 8th stage crushes Blood Qi 3rd stage. This is simply a dreamlike scene. Although many disciples in the Liang sect have had this kind of dream, they dreamed that their foundation was extremely solid and their background was extremely deep. With body forging realm cultivation base, they could crush most Blood Qi realms, master. But it was a dream after all, and only after waking up from the dream would one realize that the reality is extremely cruel. The saying that a higher level of cultivation base can crush people to death is not just talk. It's an extremely cruel iron law. The Fierce Sun sect is just an inconspicuous little sect in the martial Dao world, among the human forces, surrounded by small sects who are similar in strength to the Lin Yan sect, and the disciples in the sect do not have a wide range of vision. Looking around, they have never heard of the fact that body forging realm can leapfrog to challenge the blood chi realm. Maybe those top big sect disciples can do it, but for them, that kind of existence is simply legendary, and they can't see or hear it at all. They can only let go of their own imagination, and try their best to imagine the peerless demeanor of those great sect disciples. Now I suddenly heard that their elder brother actually possesses the strength to leapfrog challenges. How can they not be excited? What made them even more excited was that the cultivation technique practiced by the big brother Qin Mu was the same as theirs. They were all strong bull magic art. Why is the elder brother able to leapfrog the challenge? Does this mean that the return to origin realm's strong Niu Mogong can make people have the strength to leapfrog challenges? They are very eager to confirm this news. Because it's so important. In the world of martial Dao, which magical secret book can only be obtained without killing people and bleeding them into rivers. Now there is a ready-made secret book of magic skills in front of them. If they don't figure it out, then everyone in the Liang sect is an idiot. The Liang sect doesn't have so many idiots, but many smart people. They are eager to confirm whether their senior brother Qin Mu has the strength to challenge by leapfrogging. But this time, Qin Mu publicly announced that he would come to teach Zhang Luoshan of Blood Qi 7th stage, which is an excellent opportunity for all disciples. No one wants to miss out, nor should it be missed. Excited, if it is confirmed that the senior brother has the strength to leapfrog the challenge, I am afraid that the strength of all the disciples of our Liang sect will increase several times. Nonsense, challenge by leapfrogging, that ability is only possessed by those big sect disciples in Legendary. If we also have the ability, which of the sect disciples around our Li Yangzong will be our opponent? Yes, once the news is confirmed to be true, the rise of our Liang sect will be unstoppable. Could it really be the blessing of the patriarch? The luck of my Liangzong that has been deposited for 10,000 years has exploded. There is such a talent as a senior brother. Hey, once it is confirmed to be true, then I'm sure that senior brother will become the same figure as the founder of my Liang sect. What are you thinking about so much? Once it is proven to be true, I will practice every day, all the time, day and night, strong bull demon art. Quote. The disciples of the Liang sect were full of excitement, and their excitement could not be concealed. Almost all of them had a look of hope in their eyes. Senior brother Lin Yan is here. At this moment, an exclamation made everyone look at the person coming. White clothes and white sword, it is Lin Yan. Immediately, countless people surrounded Lin Yan, excitedly surrounding Lin Yan, asking this and that. Senior brother Lin Yan heard that you highly respect the senior brother, which also shows that you are the person who understands the senior brother best. Can you tell us, are you sure that the senior brother will guide Zhang Luoshan? That's right, senior brother Lin Yan, although Zhang Luoshan's actions are shameless, his strength is still very strong. Blood Qi 7th stage cultivation base is not so easy to defeat. The most worrisome thing is that the senior brother has only forged 8th stage cultivation base, and the cultivation base is far behind. Hearing the news that the senior brother wants to give advice to Zhang Luoshan, I feel guilty in my heart, thinking that who is doing this? Spread rumors. Blood Qi 7th stage, how many disciples of our Liang sect are worthwhile? Quote. Curiosity, excitement, and worry appeared on almost everyone's face. Lin Yan looked at this scene and nodded secretly in his heart. This step is considered to be the right one. Obviously, everyone's heart is on the side of the big brother. Looking at the brothers around him, all of them looked at him curiously. Lin Yan laughed loudly, looking at the courtyard where Zhang Luoshan lived. Without concealing his disdain, he said with a smile, I dare not say anything else, Zhang Luoshan's son. Blood Qi 7th stage master. Very amazing. Eldest brother can beat and cry him. Having said this, he changed the topic, with a mysterious smile on his face. You guys just wait to see a good show. Remember, you must protect your own eyes. I'm afraid that when the time comes, you will all be overwhelmed by the big brother. Shinwei, blinded by shock. Wow, hearing what Lin Yan said, the scene boiled for a while, and everyone stared at him with bright eyes. Hearing what senior brother Lin Yan said, senior brother is very confident. Nonsense, if you don't have strong strength, how can you have such confidence? I believe what senior brother Lin Yan said. If the senior brother didn't have this strength, how could he publicly announce that he would come to give advice to senior brother Zhang? That's right. If I didn't have this strength, I would definitely bear the humiliation and pretend that I didn't have such a thing, and wait for my revenge in the future. If you don't have the strength to dare to make such a high profile, it is too arrogant, too stupid. I see that the eldest brother is so meticulous in his actions, he is not an arrogant person at all. Do you still remember? When the elder brother was still a disciple of the outer sect, he was low-key and ruthless. His city is so deep that it still makes people feel frightened. In this way, it is very possible that the elder brother can challenge the master of the blood chi 7th stage with the 8th stage cultivation base. Isn't this incredible? What you want is unbelievable. If everyone expected the result, who would come to see it? Are you panicking when you are all brothers and sisters? Quote. Lin Yan's utterance undoubtedly proves that Qin Mu came prepared this time, and it was definitely not a decision made on the spur of the moment. This, on the contrary, made everyone present look forward to it even more. Everyone is looking forward to how a mere 8th stage cultivation base person will leapfrog to challenge a blood chi 7th stage master. It's different from the lively, exciting atmosphere outside. In the yard, hearing the noise and boiling outside, Zhang Luo's face turned black and his hands trembled. Although he is very confident in his own strength, and speaks wildly beside his juniors, Qin Mu from 8th stage cultivation base, who only forged his body, is definitely not his opponent. But, he is also afraid in his heart. From what he knew about Qin Mu, he knew that Qin Mu would definitely not be an arrogant, hot-blooded person. Qin Mu didn't stay in Lai Yangzong for a long time, and he didn't do much. However, what did he do that didn't shock people? It seems that he is very high-key, but in fact, he is very low-key. Every time he acts, he makes a plan before acting. If he didn't have that strength, he would never publicly declare that he would come to guide him. Zhang Luoshan is not a fool, he has already seen his own future clearly. There are only two ways to go. Or, defeat Qin Mu. Zhang Luoshan has become famous, stepping on Qin Mu, the big brother, to the top. Or, defeat Qin Mu miserably, lose everything, become Qin Mu's chicken in killing chickens and monkeys, and establish his prestige as the supreme senior brother in the sect. If it fails, it will be a crushing defeat, and there will be no future at all in the future. Zhang Luoshan will not naively think that those elders will let him go. That day when Qin Mu demonstrated the return to origin state, strong bull demon art, he took the position of the only core disciple. If he shows his super and incredible ability to leapfrog challenge again, then God knows how those elders will support him. Thinking of this, Zhang Luo panicked, and felt a little regretful, regretting why he was the first to stand up and provoke Qin Mu. In Sect, there are still many true disciples who are not convinced. If you don't stand up, others will stand up. Stand by yourself and watch the show. How good would it be? You shouldn't. Regret filled his heart. When Zhang Luoshan secretly regretted and was afraid, he only heard a loud roar, "Eldest brother is here." When this sound came out, the audience fell silent. Everyone looked at the young man who was approaching slowly surrounded by many servants. The young man's face is very young, but no one dares to underestimate him, because this young man is their titular senior brother Qin Mu. After today, if everything goes well, I'm afraid everyone present will have to convincingly say, "Big brother. Big brother." Others couldn't react, perhaps because of their self-esteem. They didn't see Qin Mu's leapfrog challenge and defeat Zhang Luoshan's strength with their own eyes, so they couldn't change their mouths. But Lin Yan has no such worries. Although he is also proud, his pride has disappeared completely during the few days when he was beaten up by Qin Mu. It can be said that in front of Qin Mu, I don't have the slightest temper anymore. Seeing Qin Mu, he hurriedly stepped forward to salute. Qin Mu nodded slightly, looking at the crowds of people around him. He nodded secretly in his heart. The stage has been set for him, and then he just needs to be serious and show all of himself. No, most of his strength is enough. Then all the disciples in the sect would be willing to call him senior brother and recognize him as senior brother. Once his identity as a senior brother is recognized by all the disciples in the sect, then his Qin Mu's position in the Liang sect will be irreplaceable. He smiled at everyone and arched his cupped hands. then looked at Zhang Luoshan's courtyard from a distance, and said with a smile, "Is junior brother Zhang here?" This elegant and polite appearance may make people feel hypocritical, but Qin Mu feels that this is necessary, because he was originally putting on a show for everyone to see. If he faced Zhang Luoshan alone, of course he wouldn't do so much, he just punched him, how could he smile? Laugh for a ghost. Big brother. Zhang Luoshan came out of the yard with a complex expression, and saluted Qin Mu from a distance. His tone was very soft, and there was a hint of submissiveness. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.